Might lose my marriage for doing something that's medically necessary. I am really at a loss. I'll try to keep it short, but I really don't know what to think about it. I have uterus cysts. They were tested and are not cancerous, but the doctor wanted to proceed with either burning the inner lining of my uterus or removing it completely. Needless to say, both options will make it so I am sterile, just one making it so I no longer have a future problem. The burning may still allow them to come back. I am still waiting on the follow-up doc app next week, but I shared my news with the family. My family was 100% supportive. I have 2 kids, 8M and 1F. The hard part is my husband's family. He is 100% supportive in all of this. Basically said, if it can become cancer and is already causing so many health issues, take it out now. But the thing is, he would still like to grow our family a little more. He's willing to adopt more children if the doctor suggests for us to take this route and sterilization happens. Mill, on the other hand, is throwing a fit for the ages. Indicating her son is only saying what I want to hear because I am going through something. What man only wants one child? My son deserves to have a boy. My husband adores my 8-year-old as if he were his own, and the most angering one, who TF are you going to adopt? You cannot expect my son to adopt. She insists that the procedure, burning of inner lining on uterus, will not render me sterile and that plenty of women have done that and still had kids. My obgyn indicated that is bullshit and that I will not be able to have any more kids. My husband isn't known for sharing his emotions too well with me, and when I asked to speak with him tonight he said his mother is insane and for me to ignore her. That had back my decision up and for me not to worry. I indicated that if he wants another child, we can have another and do this procedure after the birth, but he doesn't want to have 2 babies in the home at once. He can barely handle my 1-year-old and insists 1 baby is his limit until she's at least 3 or 4. But I might not be able to give him another baby in that time frame. I am honestly wondering if this might be an ending point in the future. I am wondering if I go through this medical procedure, either 1, that my husband might grow to resent me when time comes that he wants another child. And of course, he's an only child to his mom. I am worried that she'll end up turning him to see things as she does. They have a ridiculously close relationship, but he's known for standing his ground. I am just not sure if this is something he's going to be firm on as the years go by. Any help is appreciated. Thanks, guys. Your mistake, or husband's, was to tell Mill what medical procedures you may or may not need. It's none of her business. She does not get a say on the matter, and this should be dealt with by the couple, not by the extended family. Your husband is an only child. This strongly implies that your Mill may only have had 1 child with her husband. However, your Mill thinks that you potentially having multiple children with her son is worth you risking death over? You need to make the best decision for you, going by the advice of your doctors. This isn't up to your husband or his mother. Why does she even know your private medical information? Put her on an information diet and stop telling her your private medical details, or if it's your husband telling her, tell him to stop and that you don't consent to having your medical information shared. You cannot worry about the future like this. You have to take care of yourself in the present moment. You have no idea what will happen or could happen in terms of growing your family. Just take it one day at a time. Your husband is supportive of you. Talk to your doctor and remove the uterus when that gets scheduled. Don't bring it up to your mother-in-law until after the fact, then she can get upset if she wants. Nothing she can do about it. Your husband supports you, for sure he understands the risks, he's willing to adopt as well. Why are you giving any weight to what Mill wants? She doesn't want what's best for you and your family. This debacle makes it clear she has no respect for you and only sees you as a baby-making machine. So again, why are you even listening to her? This is between you and your partner. And even if he weren't supportive, and he is, this is your life, your ability to be alive to raise the kids you already have. Why would you consider risking it to please Mill? See Mon. Op. Can't they harvest and freeze your eggs to use with a surrogate if you and husband decide to have more kids? Your husband sounds pretty supportive and loving. I wouldn't really worry about what the Mill has to say. She sounds vile and nasty. Your husband has your back. Trust him. Adopting is a good option and 1 child is definitely enough in terms of blood relation. Can always adopt a boy. Please do not beat yourself up so much for this. You're doing the right thing and I really hope it all goes well. Less than 3. Stop involving this woman in your marriage and for goodness sake, stop letting her get inside your head. For further support and insight, head over to Just No Mill. If it were me, I'd tell your husband to man up and be a leader. I don't know why you chose a guy that is still ruled by his mother, but it ain't the best way to go about having a relationship. The best way to deal with problems like this is to prevent them in the first place. Find out who your husband prioritizes. Will he pick your wants and needs over his mother's? How do you not have an answer to this after already having 2 kids? It sounds like your husband already know that his mom is a few fries short of a happy meal. He sounds pretty supportive. Don't let the lunatic get in your head. You might not even be able to get pregnant again if the cysts are big enough. Yeetus the uterus, it is better than ending up with cancer. The recovery time from an eviction is 8 weeks or so, but cancer can be a death sentence. Stop listening to his mother. I am sure he would rather have you alive and adopt. In no particular order. Tell your mill to pound sand. Trust that your husband meant what he said. Yeet the uterus. Keep adoption on the table. If you two are well off and genetics mean that much, consider a surrogate mother. I don't know what is involved with a hysterectomy. Are the ovaries removed as well? But maybe you could freeze some of your eggs now and through IVF later, a surrogate mother could bear a child that is from you and your husband. But, yeah, that's insanely expensive. Your husband sounds like a good guy except for not telling his mom to butt out. Good luck. Don't end your relationship in your head because of what your mill is saying. Your husband loves you, not your uterus. Isn't it possible that the uterus cysts you already have may make getting pregnant now very difficult, if not impossible, anyway? So the choice may already be out of your hands. Regardless, I have to second the other commenters here who have already pointed out that your partner already seems very supportive, and just leave your mill out of it. You need to keep your health as the #1 priority and do what is best for you by the advice of your doctor, otherwise your children could possibly lose their mother, your husband could lose his wife and your mill could lose her dill. Do what is best for your health and shut the rest out. It is just noise. Stay healthy. An ablation doesn't make you sterile. You can still get pregnant. It's incredibly dangerous for you and the fetus, and you'll need a medical abortion if you do become pregnant. If your husband isn't also willing to get a vasectomy, I would recommend the hysterectomy. Thank you for sharing your story. It sounds like your mill is not fit to be around your family, including your husband. Perhaps it would be wise to discuss with your husband the idea of cutting her off your lives. The procedure that you need to go through is nobody else's business. Do not be intimidated. Sounds like you should join us over at RJUSTNOMIL. To quote a wise man, his mother is insane and you should ignore her. I don't think you need to worry about what your mill thinks. For some reason certain people expect women to be baby factories at the expense of their own health. I'm glad your husband sounds supportive, and I think you need to trust him when he says he has your best interests at heart. I had a hysterectomy this year and honestly I feel like a new woman. Definitely the best decision for me health-wise, and I'm so glad I made the decision that was right for me and my body. I hope you can do the same. Get the procedure. Your husband sounds perfectly supportive of you and aware that his mom is a lunatic. You're married to him, not her. Don't let her into your head. Also, don't be afraid to share your fears with your husband, if you haven't already. Vulnerability builds intimacy. Everyone else here is right. You shouldn't take your mill opinion over your husband. I'd just like to add this: the next time your mill starts inserting herself into your family like this, look her right in the eyes and say, "This is none of your business and I didn't ask for your opinion." I don't understand why people allow their in-laws such latitude. You are allowed to stick up for yourself. She's being rude and destructive. She is literally trying to undermine your marriage and your health. Tell her to fuck off. I'll reiterate, if his mother could say such nasty things about his wife and children and still maintain a close relationship with her, he's not at all supportive. It's only a matter of time until he wants what mommy wants. I'd be side-eyeing him too. Honestly, I think the path forward is very clear here. You need to get an ablation for your health, and so you are getting an ablation. Your husband wants you to do this, because he would rather have you in his life than the potential to have his own son. Scare quotes to show absurdity. Your mill sounds like a right pill, and I think your husband is right. Ignore her. This isn't about her. It's about you, your husband and your 2 children and your ability to be there for all of them long term. Respectfully, your physical and mental well-being is more important than your batshit crazy mill. Your husband said that he's willing to adopt. Take him up on that if you want more kids. Your mill is a pos. Why the hell does your husband let her talk like that? If your husband doesn't put his mother in her place now, he never will. Tell him that he needs to shut her up or he needs to cut her out of your lives completely. This is insane. First, if you haven't already, get an independent second opinion. My wife and I were in a similar position with 1 child and opted for adoption to have the size family we both wanted. Both of our children are beyond wonderful. Lots to worry about here, but no one can never guarantee their future. Take your husband's word and go on with your life. Have you tried discussing freezing your eggs? And the possibility of using a donor in the future? Those options are ridiculously expensive, so please keep in mind that they are not feasible for everyone. But if your husband wants to grow your family, that is an option for you. Please research it together thoroughly, though. And I agree with most who are saying that you're allowing your mill to control too much of your thoughts. Trust and believe your husband, the person that you married. But you write like there would be an option to stay fertile. There isn't, so just go with your procedure and let life happen for the rest. P.S. I don't really understand though. My uterus has been burnt inside with laser, and no one told me it would have any impact on my fertility, sadly lol. Your MIL's opinion in the grand scheme of things does not matter. What matters the most in this situation is your health and your ability to live comfortably and look after your family. Discuss with your husband that you want limit interactions and the information shared with your mill. As for your husband, maybe talk about your different options for having kids in the future, adoption, surrogacy, which may or may not include freezing your eggs. If you are unhealthy, you won't be there for the 2 children you do have. Screw your in-laws. Your husband is there for you, if I understood right. Get the treatment. Your mill is a pos. Your issue is with your mother-in-law, not your husband. You're worried he'll grow to resent you and worried he won't be firm and stand by you, but reading this, he seems very supportive. He knows his mother is wrong. So the idea that you might lose your marriage over this doesn't seem to be very accurate at the moment. He's on your side. She doesn't speak for your husband, he does. And I think he's made himself fairly clear, so you need to ignore her and focus on him. She's getting into your head and making you doubt him. You and your husband are on board. That's all that matters. Your husband is being supportive. Take him at his word. Get the best treatment for yourself that you and your doctor decide. Ignore his shitty mother and don't share personal business with her in the future. My mom died at 46 to cancer. We knew about it for 3 months before she passed. Please do whatever it takes to be around for the kids you have now. Your mill can go fuck herself. You can always freeze some eggs first or something, can't you? If you're really not sure if he'd like biological kids. But also from rest of post, who do you trust more, him or his mom? He needs to check his mom. Do you have the option to maybe freeze some eggs, have eggs harvested after the procedure and go for IVF and surrogacy maybe? That's if you definitely wanted another biological child. Having said that, adoption is a completely valid route to parenthood. I think you need to give your husband the benefit of the doubt. From what I read, he has been very supportive and is reassuring you that your health and well-being are what's important to him. I might be a young adult male and might not give any useful relationship advice, but after seeing my own mother go through similar health issues, please do what's right for yourself medically. For 2 years my mom was struggling with everyday activities, was weak, and was debating what to do about the issue. I can't even imagine what she would have gone through if my sibling and I weren't young adults and she had to put in as much effort as with children. Something like this can become incredibly serious, and when it does, you want to make sure you and your husband can be there for your children. The very fact that your mill is demanding that you put having babies above your own health is a very definite sign that you shouldn't put any stock behind what she says. She's clearly not a reasonable person. Your husband has 2 beautiful children. It's okay to want more, but sometimes the happier path in life is learning to accept your limits and appreciate what you already have. TBH, you're in a better, just no mill, situation than most people are, as you actually have your husband on side and backing and supporting you, not being a spineless wonder and doing what Mummy Dearest tells him to. Contact with this witch needs to be limited, as does information shared. If she doesn't value your life over you being viable, to give her a real grandbaby, which apparently is only a boy, and I'm the level of petty where this nightmare of a human wouldn't see any of my kids, then she doesn't get to be in your life. I mean, there's a very easy non-confrontational way to solve this. You tell her you had the lining burned, and let her believe that she may get more grandkids in the future, but, who knows, right? In the meantime, you do what's best for you and ignore anything she says. Hell, your husband has your back regardless. What if you froze your eggs for the future to possibly use via surrogate? Whether you use them or not would be up to you. Your husband wants you alive and healthy a lot more than he wants possible future offspring. F your mill. Life has dealt you a hand where you have 2 amazing kids and were able to give your husband a daughter of his own. That's more than anyone can ask for. I had a friend who died last year of cervical cancer, and she documented her 2-year battle in a blog. It was bad. Really bad. The last entry was made by her husband about her last moments. She died at 38 with 3 kids. If you have a chance to prevent this from turning into cancer, do it. Do it now and don't think twice. Question mark, question mark, question mark. How do you even consider risking your life when you have young children? WTF.